With Senator Kyl's big announcement today, that leaves everybody asking who will take his place, and we brought Michael O'Neill, our political expert, in to talk about it. And I suppose
sift through the cast of thousands, right?
Everybody wants the job. What do you say about this field of Republicans?
I look at this field of Republicans and I see two names that stand out. John Shadegg held a seat in this state for 20 years, very highly respected, very mainstream. Only question is he left his seat. Does he have this fire in the belly? Then amongst the current congressional delegation, I think the standout is Jeff Flake from the East Valley.
But everyone wants to run at this point, and you
Absolutely.
see the field widening.
You go around town tonight, any house with a light on is probably somebody saying, well, do I have a Senate race in my future?
Fewer Democrats on the list. Is it just because when you have a D behind your name in Arizona, it's like having the scarlet letter? It's very difficult to win. We saw that in the last election cycle.
Well, we saw it in the last one. The last two were pretty good for Democrats. Democrats start out a little bit behind, but a really good candidate, like Janet Napolitano once was, can beat a Republican.
Well, let's whittle this down then from the candidates we've shown you. And you've kind of come up with your A team and your B team on the Republican side. The A team, Jeff Flake and John Shadegg. They've got a lot of experience. They know the domestic issues. They know the international issues. They know budgets, etc. This is an interesting B team, actually.
This B team is if the furor about SB 1070 and immigration continues another 2 years, you got to look at guys like Paul Bebeau and Russell Pierce and say, do they maybe have a shot? I'm not sure. They're definitely not in the same league as our A team here. They've got a ways to go, and they also are one-issue candidates who've ridden immigration quite a ways. We don't know whether that's going to continue.
But that's all that matters in a primary. You get if a lot of people are running, you get a small section of the vote. If you're a popular guy on some of these issues, boom.
But when an issue is dominant in 2010 doesn't mean it's the dominant issue in 2012.
Very good point. Let's look at what you think might happen with the Democrats. So there's two big ifs here.
Absolutely.
Explain
and
what.
The big issue with either of these is, would they do it? Is Gabrielle Giffords going to have the capacity to do it? And two, would she have the will? Would Janet Napolitano be willing to give up a cabinet seat and frankly, in the hope of a seat on the Supreme Court in order to run for a maybe seat in Arizona? I'm not sure. If either of them were to run, I think they would be the head candidate, without a doubt.
We're all hoping that Gabrielle Giffords pulls through. If she pulls through and does remarkably well, is she a shoo-in? Nobody can beat her?
Nobody's a shoo-in, but I think she would be the odds-on favorite. Grant Woods, I think, could not win a Republican primary. But if the Republicans in particular take somebody from the hard right, and the Democrats take somebody who's perceived to be pretty far left, there's a potentially big swath in the middle, and Grant Woods is a centrist who's been out of the limelight for a while, but is centrist, very well known, very well liked, and could create a very interesting scenario.
And we see that in independent voter block growing by leaps and bounds, it seems like every year.
If you look at the graph of it, the number of independents is shooting up, the number of Republicans and Democrats is relatively stable.
Michael O'Neill breaking it down for us. We will see where it goes. It's going to be very interesting.
And it will go on for a considerable length of time as these candidates jockey.
Thanks, Michael.
Well, the big question now is who's going to replace him when his term is up in 2012. Some experts think the top Republican contenders are Jeff Flake and John Shadegg, but we have a whole list of them here. Other possibilities: Pinal County Sheriff Paul Bebeau and State Senator Russell Pierce.
I think they'd both be long shots because of being single issue. That's first of all contingent upon, number one, that the issue of immigration is still dominant in 2 years, and I'm not sure that it will be. And secondly, are we willing to elect somebody to the United States Senate based on a single issue?
All right, how about the Democrats? O'Neill says a few of them have a shot at Senator Kyl's seat, including former Arizona Governor Janet Napolitano, current Homeland Security Secretary. And how about this? This is intriguing. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, assuming she's able to make a full recovery from her injury.